Hello, my loves. My name is Janae, and welcome back to my channel and to episode 2 of Design to Receive. If you missed the first episode, make sure to go check it out. We talked about how to manifest more by doing less and how hustle culture is actually blocking your magnetism. But today, we're leveling up and we're talking about the identity shift that changes everything in your business. Because there's a moment when soft magnetic energy evolves into something way deeper: clarity, decisiveness, and power. Power over your own direction. Deciding that you have plans for this business and that you want to see some movement. This is what I call the CEO shift. It's an energy, an identity, and you finally trusting yourself so deeply that you don't have to prove anything to anyone else, even yourself. If you've been doing the inner work and you still feel like you're overthinking everything, or you can't stop doubting your moves, or you're just trying to act like a boss but secretly burning yourself out, this episode is for you. So let's get into it. Let me just say this up front. If you're tired, it's because you're carrying way too much and you're probably trying to earn some sort of permission to rest by doing everything perfectly the first time. Somewhere along the way, we're programmed to think that rest has to be earned, that being a leader means to be on all the time, and that if we want results, we have to outwork everyone else around us, even if it means constantly second guessing ourselves. But what if I told you that it's the biggest type of propaganda ever shared? Trying to micromanage every decision, overthinking every move, burning yourself out just to prove you're serious? None of that is leadership. That's really just self-abandonment in disguise. And if you're still moving from that energy, you're really just performing. You're making the appearance of control more important than the experience of alignment. And listen, I've been there. There were times in my business that have only been running for a year, by the way, where I didn't even realize I was exhausting myself because I had confused chaos for growth. I thought I was being productive or building momentum, but really I was just burning through my energy trying to be ready enough. And the truth is, rest is not a reward. It's actually required if you want success. Because when your nervous system is regulated, your decisions are sharper, your energy is cleaner, and your confidence doesn't have to be loud to be felt. You're not forcing yourself to feel ready, you're just grounded. So if you've been feeling overwhelmed lately or like you're pushing but nothing's really landing, this is a sign to start trusting yourself more. Because even one deep breath or one pause can completely shift you into a completely better frequency. Okay, let's talk about self-trust, because I think a lot of us think we trust ourselves, but by the way we move, the way we second guess, wait for signs, and ask social media and the internet for what to do next, it's starting to seem like we really don't trust ourselves. Real self-trust doesn't always look loud or bold. Self-trust will sometimes look like not explaining yourself or not rushing to fix something just because you're uncomfortable, or saying no when you could technically say yes, and choosing rest well before you're burnt out. It's these small grounded moments where you don't abandon yourself to avoid discomfort. I remember when I first started choosing clarity over chaos, I was so uncomfortable. Like, I knew what I wanted to do, but I kept looking for permission. I kept open 10 tabs to scroll through content, ask friends and family for opinions, when deep down I already had my answer. I just didn't feel safe following it. And that's the thing about self-trust. It's not always about having the right answer. It's more about being okay if you don't and still moving anyway. Because let's be real, the version of you who gets everything that she wants doesn't need to be told she's right. She just decides that she is. Self-trust is the gap between waiting and walking, between spiraling and choosing. It's quiet, but it's powerful. So if you've been stuck in decision fatigue lately or second guessing every move, pause and ask yourself, do I actually trust myself to lead this next season? To lead the next quarter of this year? And if not, that's okay, because the version of you who does starts right here. Now let's talk about what it actually means to lead like a CEO in your business. And no, I'm not talking about hustle culture or hyperproductivity or waking up at 4 a.m. to do whatever it is that people who wake up at 4 a.m. do. CEO energy is calm and clear. It's about being intentional with your steps. The version of you who leads with power and peace is definitely not running on fumes, checking every 5 minutes to see if she's made a sale or got a like on her post. She's tuned into her vision, grounded in her values. She's clear about what gets her time and energy, because when you embody true leadership, your energy does the heavy lifting for you. You don't have to convince or control, you just command through presence. There's a level of peace that comes when you stop assigning your value to how much you're doing, because when you lead from overflow, you create results that actually feel good to receive. So if you're in a season of recalibration, give yourself credit for that. It takes way more power to pause and gather your thoughts than it does to push through something you know isn't aligned or working for you. That is what CEO energy really is, a whole lot of self-trust and respect. Now let's talk about power. Not the kind that needs to be seen, but the kind that moves in silence, makes clear decisions, and doesn't leak energy over things that don't actually matter. Real power is when you start protecting yourself, especially your energy. You don't explain yourself or prove your worth through overworking. You don't run your life on urgency just to feel important. You preserve your energy because you understand it's your currency. At some point, you realize being available to everything is the reason nothing is landing. You're stretched thin, you're doing too much, you're saying yes to shit you don't even like. And for what? A dopamine hit? A gold star? Girl, peace is a non negotiable, at least for me. Not something you get when you hit some goal. You just take it. You live your life in peace. Power means to make space before life forces you to. You create spaces before you're drained, before you're spiraling. You slow down before you forget what you're even building. That is how you flow. Not by vibing your way through chaos, but by getting so clear on what's worth your time that peace becomes your default setting. Your boundaries don't have to be cold or unbothered. Though standing your ground is a power move in itself, they really just have to exist in general. They're about choosing how much of you gets involved and when. Because when you choose to stop pouring your energy into people, projects, or platforms that don't pour back into you, you do way better. That's when overflow becomes your normal, when you start moving from alignment. And that is exactly what the CEO shift is all about. It's a full blown recalibration, one that puts you back in charge of how you move, what you lead, and why your presence holds power. And if you're building something real and you're ready to stop running your business on fumes, go check out the first link in the description for a more in depth guide on how to do just that. Alright, my loves, that is the end of episode 2. I hope this episode helped you in any way, and if it did, please be sure to let me know in the comments. Also, be sure to like this video if you enjoyed it and subscribe for more videos every week. Also, make sure to stay tuned for episode 3, aka the last episode of the series, coming out very soon. I love you guys so much, and I will see you guys in the next video. Bye!